Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you may be. Thank you for joining me for yet another video. Today we're playing Flight of Nova. This is a flight simulator. More specifically, this is a orbital and an atmospheric flight simulator. Um, I always liked these type of games, simulators. I played DCS in the past, made a few videos, and I think flight sims of all kinds are they're great because they have real world applications. Whether you're ever gonna put something like this to practice or not, you're still learning something. So, with that being said, I am just playing around, messing around a little bit, just doing some aerobatic maneuvering right before launching myself right into space to establish a stable orbit. As you can see, I'm flying a shuttle, and it has a pair of very powerful engines. Um, Compared to what I know, if I had to guess, um, those engines are about 80 to 90,000 pounds of thrust each, which is up there. It's pretty powerful stuff. It's the game is based to be far in the future, as far as I can imagine. And yeah, it's this game is still in its development stages, but so far it has a solid foundation and it's really promising. And yeah, it's currently available on Steam, and I've been playing it on and off for a while. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So right now, as you can see, I'm in the process of establishing a stable orbit. Stable orbit. Um, as you can see, my altitude is increasing and my speed is increasing even more. Um, because I'm still flying through the atmosphere, you can see how the hull is glowing from all the friction that's being created. But pretty soon, as I get to about, well, the atmospheric properties in this game are based on that of Earth, um, and the planet size is also based on that of Earth. So, um, by the time I get to 100 kilometers in altitude, I'm pretty much gonna be above the majority of the atmosphere, which is what I'm trying to do right now. And when you get past a certain altitude, you get a symbol on the top left corner of the screen where the dark turquoise circle represents the circumference of the planet, and the white circle represents your orbit trajectory, basically. Um, then you get apoapsis and periapsis. Apoapsis is basically the highest point of your orbit, and periapsis is the lowest point of your orbit. Um, so sometimes when you're in orbit, maybe sometimes when you're in an elliptical orbit, slightly in an elliptical orbit, sometimes it's hard to determine whether you are on your way towards your apoapsis or whether you are towards flying towards your periapsis. And the best and the quickest way to determine that is just look at your altitude. If your altitude is increasing, that means you're moving towards your apoapsis, which is the highest point of orbit. If your altitude is decreasing, you're moving towards your periapsis. And as you play the game more, you're gonna use those things as tools to be able to navigate your missions, which are based on delivering different packages and various containers. So yeah, so basically the objective of the game, you're basically flying as a delivery pilot. Um, and yeah, there's you get different missions and you go up in ranks, and yeah, it's a fun game. There's a lot to do. Um, there's always new updates, and yeah, the game, you know, with each update, the game gets better and better with more depth to it. Um, so right now, as you can see, I'm trying to move around and basically um, right now what I'm doing is I'm pointing myself towards the direction that I'm flying towards to slow myself down in hopes of achieving a more stable orbit. Yeah, and the little thing, the little crosshairs in the distance, that's basically my, it's an indicator that shows the direction that I'm traveling towards. It's a flight path vector. That's what it's actually called. Um, so yeah, so I'm right about at a point where I'm almost there. I'm pretty close to achieving um, a stable orbit, as you can see. So there's different bases to fly to. You can pretty much refuel at any base, and like fuel, that's another thing that you have to uh, watch. The bottom bar below the fuel, that's your RCS. The It's what you use both um, within the atmosphere and in orbit to maneuver around, since the shuttle doesn't have flaps or any ailerons or vertical or horizontal stabilizers. You use your RCS basically for all kinds of maneuverings. One of the funnest things that I like about this game is the whole process that it takes to dock to a space station. Like, um, based on your approach and everything, it's a whole process. It's a system that's fun to figure out if you're into type of a game like that. Um, you get most of your missions from ground stations. Some missions you get from um, space stations, I believe. Um, for the delivery missions, for the container delivery missions, there are um, you are tasked with delivering. Sometimes you have to deliver things like, containers of water. Sometimes you have to deliver containers of um, other like different minerals and different things to various um, ground stations for resupply. But like I said, the game is just in its beginning stages of development, and it's gonna be a good one. Um, yeah, I'm gonna try to make more videos um, of this game. Next time, I'm gonna try to show you a few different missions where you are using. There's a different ship. It's the cargo ship with which you deliver containers, and that's also a lot of fun, since um, without the containers, or like with an empty container, the ship feels one way, but when you're picking up a container full of water or anything else, you can feel the difference in weight. And so when you're flying, and especially when you're landing, you have to account for that weight, and that's where the experience and the muscle memory comes in. And yeah, it's just fun to work around. So, anyways, thank you for joining me and watching me play this game. Um, yeah, thank you.